I agree to now so that join us at this very o'clock for news on the hour for Plus TV Africa. My name is Promise Neran and the tournament is our Sama Governor. This. Let's say the Inspector General of Police Mohammed Adamu on Wednesday give update for the operation Pofada when we say they take tackle the kidnap and banditry nationwide. When we say the police don't arrest 2,175 suspects since April 5th. The IG said the police operative when we say they join with the operation Pofada don't still save 63 kidnapped people within the period and call for tougher legislation against kidnap and banditry, like to seize their assets when we say linked to these crimes. Adamu talked this one and said the torchlight matter with delegation of the Association of Local Government of Nigeria and Nasarawa State chapter when we say they go see him for an official quarters for Abuja. And 1 year when we say the first public relations officer DCP, Franco Ba, the IG talk, he said the 2,175 suspects include 852 when we say they arrest for kidnap, 865 for armed robbery, 359 for kili and 99 for courtesan. Umbasi, the IG called for the tough legislation against kidnapping and banditry with possible state seizure of assets when we say linked to what the kidnappers collect and other crimes. The IGP believes say they go act as strong body to bunga kidnappers and other criminals. There's like 60 suspect bandits when we say they call Sarasuka, 9 arrests within the Bauchi metropolis. The Air Force talk on Wednesday say they don't scatter the house of plenty Boko Haram for the fringe of Lake Chad and scores of terrorists when they say they kill. The talk person, Air Commodore Ibikunle Daramola, he say they do this work after intelligence report confirms say the bad people did the area. According to RAM, the sustained air offensive against a remnant of Islamic State of West Africa province, ISWAP, fighters for the fringes of Lake Chad don't get another result. As the Air Task Force ATF of Operation Lafayette for June 5, 2019 scattered the terrorist house and property them for Tubun, Kiowa inside northern Borno State. The Mieti Ala Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, Southeast Zone, said they don't get any wahala against any state for the zone, not talk less of plot against any form of biggie. The association of one press conference for Oka, the Anambra State capital, denied one media report when they say Hatme go come cause wahala for the area for because they say make their cow no chop grass. The Shemo of Magban Southeast Zone, Jegedado Sidiki, he talks some story when we say it makes sense. Former Defense Minister Lieutenant General Theophilus Danjuma, retired former military governor of the Rivers State, General Zamani Lekwot, retired, and Chief Solomon Asemota's son, don't tell the United Kingdom Parliament say President Muhammadu Buhari they pursue one jihad or Islamization agenda are not serious to tackle insecurity when we say they come from the Boko Haram insurgency and herdsmen farmers brigade for the country. The trial act under the aegis of the Nigeria Christian Elders Forum, NCEF, where we say they still get General Joshua Adogo Yaro, retired Justice Kalajine, and Igbogu Eda Matthew Owojaye, Dr. Kate Okpaleke, and Eda Moses Ihonde as members. The Christian elders blame Lord Lugard, say he sowed the seed of ethno-religious beke and dichotomy between northern and southern Nigeria and counter deepening of the democracy and rejection of Sharia for their position for the paper when visited the date to June 3rd to the all-party parliamentary group for international freedom of religion or belief. Earlier for our Off the Press program, Bayo Olopohunda is shared talk more for more of the palaver when we say it happened.
That has its background in the herdsmen crisis, the fear that is being backed by the establishment, that the president is not doing a lot to address this issue. And you see the Taraba issues, people that have been killed in Benue and a couple of other northern states. So of course, people have this genuine concern that the government is not doing anything about the herdsmen crisis. Yeah, so that's important, and that's why you see all of the thought leaders coming together to push this agenda of addressing this issue with the UK Parliament and all of that. Danjuma has spoken about it. And I remember recently, Obasanjo also spoke about Islamization and Islamization agenda. Yes, and then, you know, and it dovetails into Buhari attending OIC conference and all of that. But again, this has always been the issue with our country. The issue of religion, the issue of ethnicity, trust, not building trust with the people. So it's important that the government, the Buhari has to address these issues. He must speak about them. He must must give people assurance that this is not happening. Because when people have these fears, then they have the right to have the fears when people are being killed all over the country.
Nothing is done convincingly.
Yes, convincingly. So yes, of course, these guys have the right to push this. The June 12 must address this issue of Fulanization and Islamization. But let me tell you something, David. The issue of Islamization and Islamization is as old as Nigeria. First, Buhari is not the first president to attend OIC. When Babangida moved us into OIC in 1986, I mean this has always been there. The issue has always been there. So yes, of course, but we need the leadership to tell Nigerians this is a secular state, and we must remain a secular state.
Governor Atiku Bagudu of Kebbi State don't approve the appointment of Babale Ayori as Secretary to the state government SSG and Suleiman Agungu as Chief of Staff COS. The appointment day for the statement when the Chief Press Secretary Bagudu Abubakar Dakengari signed for Benue Kebbi on Thursday. Dakengari say Oga Bagudu don't get confidence for the ability, capability and dedication of Oga Ayori to continue with his service as SSG. Both appointments are sharp. The news agency of Nigeria reports say Oga Agungu now before Deputy Governor of the state, and he served as the Director General of the campaign organization of the ECOBER for 2015 and 2019 general election. As we talk about party politics now, Yekini Nabeda, one All Progressive Congress shifting the Okologa President Muhammadu Buhari as the party leader to put part for the palaver between John Odige Oyego, the party before National Shemo, and Adams Ochomole, when be the National Shemo. As the party palaver take the for some other state of the Federation, when we say they come from the mode of primaries ahead of the 2019 general election, they don't suffer blame for Shomole and other and Odige Oyego head. This will follow the matter of the party electoral victory for Zamfara by the Supreme Court and the loss where they suffer for some states. Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, don't caution all Progressive Congress, APC, make them focus. And they still ask the ruling party make them stop to drag the name of the PDP and Etana Gbege. The opposition parties say this one day for the one when we say upon Wednesday by the National Publicity Secretary, Kola Ologbodiya, for one reaction to the yarn when we say the APC takes slam the party. The PDP some accused give the ruling party say they push Nigeria into economic palaver. The opposition party say they no go join the APC for the yeye dance. Teachers of government primary and secondary school for Abia State don't start work off indefinite strike. The primary teachers, they say they never pay them their TSS money to date. Why their secondary school counterparts say make them pay them their 10-month salary arrears. One teacher said the union do this work out because the government no agree pay them. The chairman of the Nigeria Labour Congress NLC, Comrade Uchenna Obigwe, confirmed the strike. Obigwe said the governor, after one meeting with Labour and NUT leaders, released $1,050,000 from inside the May fact to pay some months of the arrears. The presidency don't meet with electricity distribution company to resolve some of the matter when say they affect the electricity supply industry. They say the chief of staff to the president, Abba Kayeri, get one meeting with the discos last week before the presidential inauguration and the before week with representative of the Ministry of Power, Works and Housing, the Bureau of Public Enterprise and the Nigeria Bulk Electricity Trading, they show face. As reports take day, they say the meeting are to resolve the liquidity gbege for the sector and improve service delivery by the disco there. The meeting examines power distribution project when we see the German government will help the disco with. More than 5 years after the privatization of the sector, the investor when we say they take over the 6th generation company and 11 disco when we say they collabo after the palaver of the power holding company of Nigeria still deal with the whole problem of the sector. The sector gets wahala of gas supply shortage, small distribution network, small transmission line capacity, big metering gap, electricity thief, and high technical commercial laws and others. Bayo Lupo is still talking mind atop this matter.
The issue of power is connected to everything. I mean, with the economy, with social security, for even the issue of security, the power is very central to all of these. Because the sector is still playing with the old issues. You know, the issue of transmission, gas shortages,
metering.
Yes, metering, theft of electricity. You know, the transmission lines are not enough. They are chaotic. So again, for all of the investors that have come to Nigeria to invest in this project, it's really been a very sad situation for them, really. Let's start with the issue of electricity theft. People are stealing electricity. I mean, I can imagine how much that sector is losing to electricity theft in the last decade that the power sector reform has been put in place. So really, yes, it's good that the presidency is taking steps, to address that issue. I mean, the current minister has really tried a lot to decentralize. Even the power sector reform actually decentralizes and allows, institutions, companies and all of that. Even Lagos State has a generating capacity on their own. So yes, it's good that that this is happening, really, that the president should meet with all of this to address some of the issues that we have mentioned now. Yeah, so the power sector has been privatized, and that's even
I've called for a reversal of this.
Well, that has even been backed by law. That would be difficult. Okay, people have invested. People have come into the country to invest in distribution, in transmission, in generation. So reversing the present the sector as it is right now, as has been privatized, will be very difficult. I mean, there will be a whole lot of things that have to be changed in terms of law. But what I think we should do going forward, what the government should do going forward, is to create the enabling environment for all of the people that have invested in this sector, in terms of generating, in terms of transmission. You see the transmission lines, they are really chaotic. People are stealing electricity. If you go to the rural areas, some areas are not even metered, some areas are not, there are no power lines in those areas. So how do we get to those places? How do we ensure that powers are not stolen? That's really very important going forward. But I said this, the government needs to create an enabling environment for those that have invested in the power sector. There is the issue of corruption with the metering system. There are a lot of cartels, in the power sector itself, in the old power sector. Those remnants of people that have remained in the power sector that are profiting from selling meters to people. So, and that's really very important. And people also have to know their rights. A lot of people still pay for meter, and it's supposed to be free. So, yeah, as regards local production of meters, that is really very important, and that has to be pushed.
All right, so now time to take one sharp break. When we show back, we'll summon up plenty other tori, then make no go anywhere. One Sudanese official don't deny saying at least 100 people die on top the paramilitary unit during one Inogo Grey Waka. He said the number now almost 46 doctors when they said they linked to the opposition on Wednesday. He talks at least 100 people they killed for the capital, Khartoum, for inside the middle of pro-democracy protest. They say 40 bodies they pulled from the River Nile for inside Khartoum on Tuesday. Authorities they stay quiet, but a health minister and official don't put the number for 46 early on Thursday. Kenya President Uhuru Kenyatta don't renew the Central Bank Governor Patrick Njoroge term, according by local station Citizen Television on Thursday. They first appointed Njoroge to impose for June 2015 for 4-year term when they say they renewable once. Njoroge now U.S. educated economist and he don't work as advisor for the International Monetary Fund before he become governor for 2015. During the first term, the government had been introduced as, for instance, one cap on top of the commercial lending rate for 2016, as well as ban on top issuance of new commercial bank license for 2015. For inside the time, the temporary closure of the Chase Bank, Kenya, when we say follow the closure of Imperial Bank, another mid-sized lender, and Dubai Bank, Kenya, a small lender, when we say we don't come out confidence for the industry, and when we say they also see increase for the bad debt. The news will continue after this chicken break. We're gonna not go anywhere. Before Vatican Treasurer Cardinal George Pell don't show face for inside the Australian court on Thursday, June 6th, for the second and final day of the court hearing, when they say they seek to overturn a conviction on top 5 historical child sex offense them. The 77-year-old will be jailed for 6 years after they find him guilty on top 5 charges of abusing 2 13-year-old boys for St. Patrick Cathedral, when he still be Archbishop of Melbourne more than 20 years ago. Pell is the highest-ranking Catholic cleric worldwide today convicted for inside child sex offense. They say the Australian journalists face jail for the one where we say they hold a classified informant, and now authorities and lawmakers talk on Thursday as police when they say that they expand the scope of the investigate after they raid 2 media organizations. Police go raid the head office of the government, when they say funded by Australian Broadcasting Corporation, ABC, for Sydney, one day after they raid the home of the new corporation editor. The raid, when they say the police say no, they related, they don't make many people. They complain of the assault of press freedom. The Australian Federal Police AFP initial talk say the raid in relation to them say that they took crime on top of the classified informate. When we say that they say media will receive any informate, nobody affected. But police later they change math on top of their website to include a possible crime when we say that they receive national secret.
No sector of the community should be immune for this type of activity or evidence collection more broadly. This includes law enforcement itself, the media, or indeed even politicians. Any inference that suggests our decisions were influenced by anyone else outside the organisation is strongly refuted. I reject the claim over the last few days that we are trying to intimidate journalists or conduct a campaign against the media. The AFP is a strong supporter of press freedom. The media plays an important role in today's society in keeping the Australian community informed. I think it's important to say at this phase that we are in the evidence collection phase of the investigation. Now, clearly, we've got a long way to go, but certainly in relation to we've got a person before the court already. It's in the public domain in relation to what's been referred to as the Afghan files matter. That matter's ongoing. I'm not going to rule in or rule out anyone being subjected to further charges. I think that's inappropriate. It's important that people realise the reason why we are so strongly in our view of certainly protecting top secret and secret information is that the Australian government, or particularly the Australian law enforcement and intelligence communities, rely on secret and top secret information from our international partners, particularly Five Eyes partners, to ensure the fact that we keep the Australian community safe. Now, if we can't be seen to protect our own internal information, we are concerned that the information flow to us dries up.
Theresa May and French President Emmanuel Macron don't join the day retired soldiers for northern France for the second day of events to mark the 75th anniversary of the Normandy invasion. One lone piper and nine played to mark the moment when we said the first UK soldiers will go for inside the inauguration ceremony. Mrs. May said the retired soldiers say make them thank you, while Mr. Macron talks say we owe them our freedom. Hundreds of retired soldiers don't gather for the Normandy for the anniversary of the largest combined land, air and naval operation for history.
Sont battus pour que le sol français redevienne libre.
Thank you, President Macron, for your support to ensure a lasting monument to the service and sacrifice of those who fought in the Battle of Normandy, something which means so much to our veteran community and to the whole of the British nation. Standing here as the waves wash quietly onto the shore below us, it's almost impossible to grasp the raw courage it must have taken that day to leap from landing craft and into the surf despite the fury of battle. No one could be certain what the 6th of June would bring. No one would know how this, the most ambitious, amphibious and airborne assault in all of human history, would turn out. Here in Normandy, we will always remember their courage, their commitment, their conviction. And to our veterans here in Normandy today, I want to say the only words we can. Thank you.
U.S. President Donald Trump on Thursday threatened to hit China with at least another $300 billion tax. But he say if they think say both China and Mexico want make deal for inside their trade dispute with the United States. President Trump follow reporters yarn before he board Air Force on one of the Irish airport of Shannon. But he not specify which goods could be affected. Mexican and U.S. officials don't set to resume their yarns for Washington, where they say they want to avoid one imposition of tax on Mexican goods. Trump said a 5% tax on top of the Mexico exports to the United States they due to start on Monday, and they go do them if no development they on top of the talk.
So we're going together to Normandy, and it's going to be something really special. It looks like the weather is beautiful, but who knows, it changes fast. I think it's going to be an incredible, special day in a very special and very important place. So I look forward to that. As you know, Mexico was in yesterday. They're coming back this morning in Washington. They'll be meeting at the White House. I think a lot of progress was made yesterday, but we have to make a lot of progress. Mexico's been making for many, many years hundreds of billions of dollars. I mean, they've been making an absolute fortune on the United States. They have to step up, and they have to step up to the plate. And perhaps they will. We're going to see. They can solve the problem. The Democrats, Congress has been a disaster. They won't change. They won't do anything. They want free immigration to pour into our country. They don't care who it is. They don't care what kind of a record they have. It doesn't make any difference. They're not going to be changing anything. We go to them. We say, let's fix the immigration laws. They just want it to do badly. The worse it does, the happier they are. So that's the way it is, and I guess that's the way it'll be till after the election. It's a disgrace because, frankly, we could solve this problem so easy if the Democrats in Congress were willing to make some changes, but they're not, and that's the way it is. They want to just ride it out. They want to have a real bad time. They don't care about crime. They don't care about drugs pouring into our country. They couldn't care less. It's all politics. It's a vicious business. So that's the way it is. But we're having a great talk with Mexico. We'll see what happens. But something pretty dramatic could happen. We've told Mexico the tariffs go on, and I mean it too. And I'm very happy with it. And a lot of people, senators included, they have no idea what they're talking about when it comes to tariffs. They have absolutely no idea. When you have the money, when you have the product, when you have the thing that everybody wants, you're in a position to do very well.